Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name's Janos, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the first episode of Season 2 of Amphibia. Before we get started, please note that this video will contain spoilers for both Season 1 and this first episode of Season 2. Also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing, and if you're coming back, thank you so much for your support. And with all that out of the way, put on your vote for Hop Pop sticker, grab some chocolate-covered maggots, and let's get started. Amphibia follows the adventures of the self-centered but kind-hearted Anne Boonchuy, a 13-year-old girl who got transported to a strange world populated by anthropomorphic amphibians after stealing a mysterious music box with her friends Sasha and Marcy. Here, Anne befriended the Planter family, including Sprig, Hop Pop, and Polly, who decided to let her stay with them and look out for her. While Season 1 consisted primarily of fun adventures, Season 2 appears to be focusing much more heavily on the overall plot, and will follow our characters out of the town of Wartwood and towards Newtopia, where they plan to search for a way to get Anne home. First things first, we got a new clip added to the intro, showing Anne and Sasha fighting on some kind of ruined bridge. If we look at their weapons, we can see that Anne is actually using the sword she got from Tritonio Espada in episode 18, Combat Camp, rather than the one she used to fight Sasha in the season finale. So perhaps we'll be seeing this weapon again later in the season. Sasha's weapon, though extremely similar to the one she used before, actually appears longer and thinner. As you can see, she is now holding it with two hands as opposed to one. It also appears to have lost its pink color, though that could just be attributed to a change in lighting. As the shot zooms out, we get a look at Marcy holding the Calamity Box, likely hinting that she will obtain it at some point in the season. The rest of the intro remains the same. I could have done with a couple more new shots, but it's fine, it's still a nice opening. Now on to part 1, Handy Anne. As the episode opens, we get a shot of this poor frog who's apparently been stuck flying around for 3 months. I mean, what's wrong with this dragonfly? Either eat him or let him go. End his suffering. Then as we pan down, we see Sprig and Anne having a conversation and briefly recapping the fight between her and Sasha in the finale of Season 1. I love this line Anne says here.
Alright, Sprig, new season, new possibilities.
It's a cute meta joke that lets us know that things are going to be a little different this time around. And speaking of which, we then see Hop Pop roll up in his new ride, an all-terrain family wagon dubbed the Fwagon, which they'll be using to travel out of Wartwood and towards Newtopia, a journey that will take up a fair amount but not all of this season. Also, we actually saw a poster for Newtopia back in episode 17, Fiddle Me This. Side note, it looks like the animation quality has improved a little bit. This series looked good before, but even more polished now, which is really nice to see. We then learn that Hop Pop has hired Chuck, Mr. I Grow Tulips, to protect the family house from danger while they're gone. Also, the taxi driver here is a clear reference to Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones, which is a really random reference, but I guess it works well to contrast this strong, manly character from the very unassuming Chuck. Now, in classic Anne fashion, she assumes that she knows better than everyone else and sends Chuck away to danger-proof the house herself. As Anne gathers supplies, Sprig laments over which of his trusty slingshots to bring, and for some reason ends up choosing the most boring-looking one. Eventually, Anne visits Leopold Loggle, looking for something to protect the crops. He gives her his latest concoction, Miracle Glop, and tries to tell her to be careful as the stuff can be pretty dangerous. But again, in classic Anne fashion, she completely ignores all warnings and dumps the entire barrel on the crops. Of course, something goes wrong, and the vegetables end up coming to life and attacking the planters. Also, this eggplant monster is a reference to the xenomorphs from the Alien franchise. As they begin to fight, Anne pulls out the sword she used in the Season 1 finale, begging the question as to where the other one is, and if or when she'll use it again. The monsters are defeated pretty easily at first, but they then enter the second phase of the boss fight, where the monsters fuse together to create a mega veggie monster, who ends up accidentally destroying the planter's house. Enraged by the invalidation of all her hard work, something triggers in Anne, and her eyes glow a bright blue, just like they did in the first episode of Season 1. This mysterious ability is undoubtedly related in some way to the Calamity Box, which has 3 colored gems on it, that of red, blue, and green. It's pretty safe to assume that the blue gem represents Anne, what with the blue glowing eyes and the blue sword, and I have to imagine that the red represents Sasha, leaving the green for Marcy. It's still very unclear what the significance of all this is, but I think we can conclude that the gems have granted these characters superhuman abilities to some extent, as Anne goes on to effortlessly wreck the veggie monster. I gotta say, this scene did a great job to get me excited to learn more about what's going on with all this as the season progresses. As the episode winds down, we see Chuck somehow repair the entire house in seconds. Not sure why he bothers growing tulips with skills like that. And with that, the Planter family begin their journey towards Newtopia. Interestingly, they decide to leave the Calamity Box behind, meaning they will have to come back to get it at some point. It also would have been nice to get a send-off from the rest of the village, but again, we'll clearly be coming back to Wartwood at some point, so it's not like we'll never see the characters again. Moving on to part 2, Fort in the Road, where the Planters start off on their journey. I really like that this season is taking us out of the familiar setting of Wartwood and will essentially be advancing the plot each episode as they approach Newtopia. It's a nice contrast to the mostly one-off episodes we got last season. This part of the episode introduces us to some really cool and very unexpected ancient technology that Sprig and Anne discovered after goofing off in an attempt to escape the tyranny of Hop Pop's seemingly endless list of road rules. I get a real Sheikah technology vibe from this, as it has that same ancient but technologically advanced vibe as seen in Breath of the Wild. I definitely wasn't expecting to see these kinds of sci-fi elements from this series, but I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. While part 1 of this episode showed us that there's more we can expect from Anne's character, part 2 shows us that we can expect more from the world of Amphibia as a whole. Also, I should mention that this room looks vaguely similar to the bridge Anne and Sasha were fighting on in the intro. From these weird vine things to the overall aesthetic, it's totally possible that the two are related, though it's certainly too early to draw any concrete conclusions. Now, I don't have a whole lot else to say about this episode, as it mostly involved them trying to save Hop Pop and escape the ruins, but I'm really interested to learn more about what was going on with this place, as well as the robot that emerges from the rubble at the end of the episode. Could this ancient civilization have created the Calamity Box? While I don't immediately see any direct aesthetic similarities between the box and these ruins, it certainly seems possible that an advanced civilization like this could have had a hand in creating something like the Calamity Box. For now, it's definitely my best guess as to where the thing came from. Also, towards the end of the episode, I really appreciated this little bit of character development in Anne, who remarks that,
"There was a time I'd pick out the bug bits. That time is past."
Which makes sense considering how long she's been in Amphibia, and shows that she's really starting to adapt. And finally, I really like the new outro scene. I think it looks a lot nicer than the one we got from last season, and once again hammers home that sense of progression that we're getting for season 2. Overall, I thought this episode was an excellent start to the new season. Not only was it full of plenty of action, comedy, and that patented Amphibia charm we got to know and love from season 1, but also did a fantastic job of letting us know that things are starting to ramp up. From Anne's mysterious glowing eyes to the ancient ruins of a lost civilization, this episode made it clear that there is a lot we don't yet know about the world of Amphibia, and set it all up in a way that makes me excited to learn more. What does Hop Pop know about the Calamity Box, and why is he keeping it to himself? Where has Marcy been this whole time, and what is Sasha now up to? I'm very much looking forward to getting some answers to these questions as the season goes on, and I'm overall really excited to keep watching. So with that said, what did you all think? Do you have any theories about Anne's potential powers? Do you think the ancient civilization had a role in creating the Calamity Box? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more videos similar to this. It would help out a lot and I'd really appreciate it. And as always, thank you all for watching, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all later.